Oh no.
Missing.
Greg?
Missing.
I thought this was a duet.
Missing.
Oh, so you're just gonna sing all the parts? Those are not the right sounds.
Missing.
Can you hear me?
Missing. Oh, missing.
Bonk.
Welcome to Miss Thing. I'm Greg.
And I'm Tim, and this is a podcast that celebrates and appreciates the miss things of the past, present, and future.
Yeah, I had such a quick sip there.
I really was like, you really needed it.
I did want to make sure that I took the sip. You know, I don't want bad luck. Anyways, yeah, in each episode, we take a key moment from our Miss Thing storied career and do what we do best, which is sort of make it all about us. If you can even imagine. Anyways, you're already doing the eye wipe.
It's one of those things where it's like as soon as we start,
Cameras up, eyes wipe.
eyes water. Yeah. I don't wipe my eyes any other time other than when we're filming.
I love that. It's sort of like how I don't have allergies anytime besides when we're filming. I did actually remember to take an allergy pill today for those worried at home because it's September, as you know, allergy season. You had something you wanted to tell me. You told me, don't talk. I walked into the building. You said, don't talk to me. Don't even consider talking to me.
You know, it's gone with the wind.
Oh, okay. Well, then I have a little something that I'd like to admit if you don't have anything for me right this moment.
Okay, good thing I'm sitting.
Yeah, it is a good thing you're sitting because you are sitting across from a Mega Millions winner.
What? Okay.
I am not kidding you.
Wait, what?
I'm not kidding you. I got one number and the mega, so I get $4. but I did win. I did win. I bought the ticket on 88 Lionsgate Portal.
And how much did you pay for the ticket?
Well, I got one power, one mega, so it was 4 total. So basically, I recouped. I recouped my investment, and ultimately, that's the best thing you could ask for when it comes to the lottery. I'm
not a lottery player, but I grew up in a family where on Christmas we would always do the scratchers.
Yeah, you're a You are a scratcher.
There is nothing more satisfying in the world than taking a quarter and filing down that card and getting those little scrapings.
Film. That sort of, what would you call that? Foil?
I just call it scrapings.
Oh, scrapings.
Yeah.
It must be so bad for the environment.
It's so bad, but if there's something so satisfying about it in a way, it feels like when you're if you're high and you're watching a video of a lava lamp or something.
Which you often are at home with your parents.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what I mean? Where you're just you're like, oh, that would actually be great to be high and then doing a lottery scratch ticket.
Totally. I would be worried that it's going up my nose the whole time or in my throat. And I go,
how close are you to the lottery ticket?
It's more a psychosomatic.
Got it.
It's more psychosomatic.
Greg, do you have a dad mom sauce, otherwise known as...
Whoa, a doll of the day, mother of the moment, sister of the second.
Yes.
Which is our key, it's sort of our amazing first segment where we talk about who, what, where we're most obsessed with at the moment. And boy, do I ever. Okay, so there is an account that I discovered lying in bed the other morning. I know you're not supposed to look at your phone. They're saying now within 2 hours of waking up, and it's sort of like I set an alarm to get up and post on social media.
I want to talk to these people who, when they set their alarm, they immediately get out of bed. They just hop out of bed. It's like you need some sort of transition.
Right, it's like, what do you mean we're not supposed to be on our phone? Where do you think my alarm is?
Yeah, exactly. And then to the people who put their phone across the room so that you have to get out of bed to turn it off.
You need help.
It doesn't work.
You need help.
You just go right into bed. and yet you got up and you're in like physical pain for having to do that.
Yeah, it's like, I am creaky as all get out. Anyways,
Sorry.
Dodd Moms, don't never apologize to me.
You're right. You're right.
You need never apologize to me on our podcast, unless of course you sneeze or cough or
Title
make a
of that,
noise when
never
I'm speaking.
apologize.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
So I was lying in bed the other morning, sort of scrolling on Instagram, as I want to do as a person in my 30s, unfortunately. And I discovered an account called @AaronMalibu. And what? @AaronMalibu.
Girl or boy? Or they?
Boy.
Okay.
I believe. I don't know. But they are an incredible artist for the ages. And what they do is they create videos using dolls, which is something that I've seen before.
What kind of dolls?
Like old Disney characters that they purpose
like
the
Barbies
dolls,
or like creepy
it's
porcelain?
like Barbies meets Disney characters. And the one particular character that I am most obsessed with their journey is Jafarina. So Jafarina is
I'm
the famous,
tense.
this sort of famous villain Jafar, who has gone on a non-binary they/them-esque journey of self-actualization.
Where has this journey taken them?
Well, they've done an entire sort of brat. I mean, it is obviously, summer's winding down, the summer of brat, but yeah, they did basically like all of the Charlie XCX songs, and it's just so funny. Like the camera will go up so close to Jafarina, and the hair will be like blowing back, and just the beard and everything about Jafarina is so just attitude.
Wait, can you set the scene? So is it like it's Jafarina is like on a beach and it's like a close up, or it's like a green screen?
It's set to music. So
Okay.
there's one, say for example, during the Brat Jafarina era.
Okay.
There's the one Jafarina and I think Jasmine. I can't even like look at the other person when Jafarina's there. They're doing the apple dance.
Okay.
They're doing the apple dance. And as they're doing it, the Wicked Witch comes in with the apple. And then like along the way, while they're doing the dance, they turn the witch into Brat, and she's wearing sunglasses, and by the end she's doing the dance.
Time.
It is so, oh my God, it must be so time consuming. It's so genius.
Yeah.
And even now Jafarina's on
Press tour?
a sort of a Taylor Swift journey of like love lost, being scorned. There's a beautiful video set to Wildest Dreams where Jafarina is a single tear is shed. And it's really, really magical stuff. I couldn't recommend it enough. I am fully obsessed.
Okay, wow, that is literally something that needs to enter my sphere.
Oh yeah, and we will be reposting some of Aaron Malibu's. I don't know why I'm doing such at work today.
You're so good. If you could do some of that at work towards our Instagram, our TikTok.
Oh, what do you mean? You mean at Miss Thing the Pod on Instagram and TikTok and sort of anywhere else you could imagine following us?
Yeah, YouTube.
Which you are free to do at this exact moment.
Yeah, put up a story about us,
Yeah. We have plenty of videos for you to repost and tell all your friends about.
Yeah, and also Jafarina / what's Aaron Malibu? What is his name?
At Aaron Malibu.
Be
sure
Aaron
to add
Malibu.
the
Why don't you give us the love back?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, at Aaron Malibu.
Turn us into dolls. Because we are dolls of the day.
Dolls and mother of the moment and sisters of the second. Speaking of, do you have one?
I do, and mine is, so this past Saturday, we're both famously in the Writers Guild of America.
Sure.
And I had a mixer with, like, the mentor that they put you with. And so she has this gorgeous house in the Hollywood Hills, and we all go up there. We're having breakfast at her place.
A breakfast meeting on a Saturday.
On a Saturday.
What time was this at?
10 a.m. And we're all supposed to bring...
Must have been hard for you.
It was. Honestly, it was hard for me.
No, I know.
I know. And...
Sending love.
Thank you so much. But the reason why she's my dad mom sauce is she has us all go around the table as we're eating to be like, I want you guys all to say in the next 2 months, whenever next meeting, like what you're going to be working on. And if there's anything that's like been a struggle for you that I can give you some advice on. And so already I'm like, she is such a better mentor than past mentors
Sure.
I've had.
You've had some interesting.
I've had some interesting ones.
Yeah.
And so,
which we all miss things, and we will get into that in future episodes.
Yeah. And so we're going around the table, and it gets to one guy who's talking about what he's going to work on, and then he's like, and it's just been like a tough year. I like haven't been working, and I'm getting really in my head. And he starts to like, that's basically all he gets out, and she goes, up. We have no time for doubts. You can't control whether or not you're working. We can't control so many things, but what you can control is writing. So I want you to put the doubt out of your mind and put that donut back in your mouth. Then go back into the kitchen, pick up a croissant, refill your glass of Prosecco. And if you think that you're leaving my house without a bottle of Prosecco in your hand, you've got another thing coming.
Wait, that just... what? That just took me on such an emotional journey.
And that is what Kriss, that is her name, Kriss with 2 S's.
Oh, shout the F out to Kriss.
Kriss. I literally, like, my fork fell onto my plate with that speech that she gave that man, which was just like, take the doubt out of your mind and fill your mouth with a donut.
Yeah. And then a croissant.
Because there was like tons of food, and she's like definitely like someone who wants to feed people,
Sure, yeah.
And it was just, I think, the rallying cry that everyone around that table needed to hear. We all went and got another croissant.
Of course. And did you all go home with a bottle of La Marca as well?
We went with like little teeny bottles or whatever.
Teeny.
Still like
personal.
And then the other part of it that I like love so much about Kriss is she goes, she has this gorgeous house, and she's like, okay, also I want everyone to go around the table and say how much you're paying in rent at your place, which of course all of us are like, what? Like no one's speaking, because it's just like, okay, this, and then she goes, doesn't matter because I'm paying less.
Yeah, it was just a little... Yeah, I bought my house in the 90s.
That's exactly what she said. She was like, I bought my house in the 90s. And she's just... There's something about her that she's so proud. And she goes, I bought this through writing. And you guys are all going to buy your houses through writing. You just have to stick it through. And
you will never be able to pay your houses off. And I am paying less than you would.
Oh, 100%.
Wow. I love her.
I'm literally obsessed with her. And I want to say, which is a very specific type of person, she only sends emails, and the emails are always all caps.
Oh. Well.
It's not a small presence.
Very specific, very specific type of writing.
Yes. Yes.
It bought her house, so it's gotten her this far.
I cannot say enough good things about her. Greg, should we take a break?
Yeah, let's do that. Welcome back. It's time. This is a huge episode.
Boy, is it time. I mean, this is another one. I know we said this for Britney Spears.
We say it kind of every week.
I'm saying like this is another like she's coming back. Like she is definitely. There's gonna. I know we joke about part 2s for people. She's definitely getting another part.
There is too much material, and quite frankly, there's so much work. I'm sure in the pipeline currently that like we have no choice but to revisit. And let's just get into it. Our Miss Thing of the Week is Nicole Kidman.
Mic drop.
Wow. I mean, bye.
Yeah.
We're done.
I mean, when you think of preeminent actresses, actors, acting, it's this woman.
One of the true greats, one of the true character actresses, one of the great chameleons. the Hollywood. And that's not just because she has a different face with each project.
Different wig, different coat.
wig. And I say that with nothing but utmost respect. This woman is such an icon. I mean, there's too many things to mention. It's Big Little Lies. I mean, to even start there, where do you start? Moulin Rouge.
It's The Peacemaker. It's
The Peacemaker.
I love that growing up.
I did
with
too.
George Clooney,
It is just... Yeah.
I mean, but there's so many that it's like Practical Magic, you know, The Hours, even Bewitched. I know people have things to say about that, but
it's Bewitched. Yeah. It's being the Ricardos. It's just it's the unending list of movies. Also,
endless genres. Aquaman.
Oh, she can do everything.
Like The Family Affair. I think that's a movie that just came out. Like she doesn't. The Undoing.
The Undoing.
Expats. She is a.
I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen it either.
Okay.
I hope to, but I'm just saying.
I hope to as well.
I'm just saying there are some. She is a workhorse.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, and I also feel like Nicole has gone through so many stages where she like comes in, she comes into favor, and then she sort of leaves. And I don't know if that's by her design.
I don't think she's aware of it at all. Do you know what I mean? Like she's too busy working. Like she doesn't even know when like she's just kind of like, I don't know, I'm just gonna do this sacred killing of the deer.
Oh my god, killing of a sacred
Okay,
deer.
whatever it's called.
But an early Yorgos Lanthimos jam. Birth, soon to be Mirth, replacing Sandra Oh in her Broadway show Mirth.
I mean, this Rabbit Hole. I think that was the last time she was nominated for an Academy Award.
Well, that's my other thing with Nicole. It's kind of like she should have so many more Oscars. Has she only won one for The Hours?
Yeah.
I mean, incredible movie, but I feel like she should be up on that stage more. Oh, but she's always a reliable guest. She's kind of like the Taylor Swift of the Academy Awards.
She's like, that's the other thing is like, she's also, I know people say it's like, you're either a workhorse or a show horse, but I actually think
or a showman, like me.
Or a showman, yes. And speaking of showman, with Hugh Jackman, she was in Australia.
Of course. I mean, just took my glasses out there. Don't worry about that. There's hairs all over my face.
Oh no, I can't see it. I'm denying your.
Well, it's like I don't have expensive wigs like Nicole does in all of her many projects.
I mean, what's the one where she's like the famous one where she has like that short? I don't know. It's like she looks like beaten down and like
Destroyer.
Destroyer. But also, I mean, we can't go without like how she claps her hands famously.
Oh my god! The unbelievable. Fingers out. I mean, there's probably some good reason for that. I don't know what it is. I think
she did come out and say that the rings that she was wearing were really expensive and they were loaned, so she didn't want to bang them against each other.
Oh my god, this woman is so funny. And also she can do every role. She can go as far out there. She can do comedy, drama, period pieces. Like she can do such extreme variations, and yet she's always exactly her. You know what I mean?
No, it's one of those things where it's like that is what I imagine, and I'm not an actor, but it's like you're supposed to always be yourself, but also be the character. And and by being yourself, you like are the character. I don't know if that makes sense, but I feel like that's what the actors say when I watch them give interviews.
1000%.
And that is what she
find
does.
That character inside.
Yes,
find that character inside. Two other key moments from her career. AMC ad. How'd you know? And of course, the day she got divorced from Tom Cruise and the photos where she's sort of cheering and sort of like arms out, screaming, ultimate like women's liberation. It's an incredible series of photographs.
But okay, all of these credits are making me think of a little game that I would like to play.
A little game.
I try to do this, whatever accent this is.
Well, that was more Keith. Keith
Urban.
Yeah.
Keith is Australian, right?
Yeah.
We need to dive into how an Australian became an American country singer. Well, it's not American, but just a country singer.
It happens all the time.
It does?
Sort
Who
of
else?
like Orville Peck, even though he's South African.
Oh, right. But he's not really, like...
Admitting.
Well, I feel like he's kind of, like, country adjacent.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
he speaks with an American Southern accent.
Oh, yes.
And his South African does betray him sometimes. We don't need to get into it.
I do love this.
But speaking,
Okay.
Keith Urban is so Nicole and him, like, with the wigs.
Oh, 100%. I was going to say, like, I feel like Keith Urban's hair should be studied.
Sure.
Put it in the Louvre. I want to know how it comes to be every day.
Yeah.
And you know that his hair takes longer than hers. Hers, she doesn't have to do anything. She just puts a wig.
Sure. Well, it comes off a mannequin's head
Yeah.
and sort of goes onto his head.
It's one of those things where I do feel like it's probably the stiff. You cannot run your hands through that.
No.
You know what I mean?
Maybe he's the witches, you know? I can see Keith Urban
Yes.
sort of hosting a seminar in like the Australian outback where a bunch of
Yeah.
like, you know, potential
Yeah.
country singers from Australia, they sort of convene in a room. There's a mouse involved. They sort of take all their wigs off. He's the Grand High Urban Witch of Australia. Is that a theory? Is that a working
I can see
theory?
that theory, and maybe she has like a type after Tom Cruise.
Sure. I could see Nicole being involved in something like that, or turning a blind eye.
This
She
is
does
my thing
work
with
so
Nicole,
much.
and this is a whole tangent, but I kind of feel like she's always so lost in her character that when she comes out of it, she pays no attention to like what actually is happening in her life. Do you know what I mean? Because she's also always working. So it's like I could believe that he is the head of some witches like thing, and she's too busy like working with Zac Efron somewhere. Do you know what I mean?
Sure. Inexplicably.
Yeah, it's just like always, and then like going back to another season of like expats.
Yeah. She's just sort of like, she goes up, she's home one night a year for about an hour. And she's
And then they
like,
have like, I just feel like they have like the messiest sex. Like very like band camp, you know, like the band camp like people in your high school who are like very horny.
sure.
You know what I mean? Like
the famous one time at band camp whole thing.
yeah, but like all the people who were in band just like were the horniest.
Sure.
And they kind of give off that vibe where it's like they would have been on the school field trip in the back of the bus making out.
In band camp.
Not band camp, what is it? Like in band. I'm just saying.
Sure. Yeah. I could see him in band.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. My
I
game.
I hope for her sake that they have sloppy sex, because in everything she does always seem to play like some sort of sexual deviant, someone that has
That's why we love
really
her.
strong
Yeah.
sexual desires. And her body, by the way, is truly the best body on a woman. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I mean,
I am sexually attracted to her body. Her nude
when she
female form.
Anyways,
Let's
my
get to the game.
All right, you ready for my game? It's called.
Is that anything?
I
An
don't
accent?
Okay, tell me. I'm gonna do an accent, and you have to tell me what accent it is. And I don't know it. So
Okay. I'll do my best.
Okay, this is me. The game is called Nicole Kidman Movies as a Taylor Swift song.
Oh.
What accent is that?
That was. It was British. It was Mid-Atlantic.
Yeah.
It was
I
a
grew up-
little Swahili, I think.
This is my impression of an army brat who moved around a lot. You know? And
sure.
Their accent moved where they were going.
Yeah.
So, you know.
A little Austrian in there. Yeah.
But not Australian.
Not Australian. No, not a trace of that.
Okay, well, I'm going to redo the game for my listeners in case you can't actually understand through my accent. But this game is called Nicole Kidman Movies as Taylor Swift songs.
Okay.
And so, Greg,
and you're going to want me to do what with that?
So I'm going to give you the title of a Nicole Kidman movie.
Okay.
And then I just want you to give me one lyric in what you think would be a Taylor Swift song, or just like a kind of a beat. It's open to interpretation.
Okay, I'm going to have to figure this out. Okay, all right.
I think that song titles, I can give you an era. I'll give you an era, actually.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
If I could match it.
Okay. Practical Magic. And that's folklore. To clarify.
Yeah, I got the sparkles flitting through the forest. You got the keys to the house and the cottage.
Love it.
And the cauldron.
I was wondering the magic.
Brewing up some magic. A love potion.
Okay.
I have no idea where I started or went.
Okay, so then the next one is...
Am I beat red?
What?
Am I beat red?
No, you're not.
Okay.
But this next era is red. And it's going to be To Die For.
I knew you were reporting on trouble when you walked in.
Okay, this last one is Bombshell in the 1989 era.
Ooh. Are we out of the office? Are we out of the office? Are we out of the Roger Ailes' office?
You fucking nailed it.
Thanks.
I would never
I'm
be able
very
to do
uncomfortable.
this. I would never be able to do this in a million years.
Kudos to you, Taylor, for crafting such beautiful music, and kudos to Nicole for crafting such amazing roles.
To me, I was just like, when I was looking at her credits, I was like, some of these credits could be Taylor Swift songs. And so then I was just like...
Anything could be a Taylor Swift song.
Anything could be a Taylor Swift song.
And anything could be a Nicole Kidman role.
Yeah. And I actually think Nicole Kidman one day will play Taylor Swift.
Because
give her
she
a wig.
will
Give her a
age
wig.
down.
Yeah. She will do CGI.
I don't think she needs to. I think she will go full method and have the face for it.
Yeah.
And maybe Nicole will do all her own singing as she did in Moulin Rouge.
Wow, did we just come up with like the greatest, most zeitgeisty thing of all time?
Yeah, and we should write that. We will write that.
Yeah.
I'll do some research on Taylor.
You don't need. I know all of it.
Yeah, I think you're gonna get me there.
But Greg, we have been
talking way too much about Nicole.
So can you please tell me how you make Nicole Kidman all about yourself?
Well, I have been such a huge Nicole Kidman fan ever since I was a kid. I think it all really started when she played Dr. Chase Meridian in Batman Return or Batman Forever. Sorry, the iconic Joel Schumacher, Val Kilmer Batman. But I also was fully devoted to her around the time of Moulin Rouge and that phase. And around that time, there was a film called... I'm sort of taking us on a journey through Nicole's credits. And there was a film called The Others.
Oh, Greg, I am so happy. That is such a seminal film for me.
And there is a famous moment. It's the big moment. She says, "What have you done with my daughter?"
Yes.
And she goes, "What do you mean? I am your daughter." And it's like a creature under a sheet. So it's super, it's super scary. It's the big moment. But anyway, so I've had a few interactions with the supernatural myself, the paranormal, in old sort of London English, settings. So,
okay.
Wait, you've never heard of this?
I don't think I know this story.
Oh, well, so last summer I was in London, which is sort of my favorite city. But last summer, when I was there, I went to the Soho House. So there's several Soho houses. It's sort of like a famous club / hotel. And one night I just wanted to go for a drink and, hang out and also see the space because I hadn't seen it. So it's a very it's a very typical London place. The building feels very old, creaky wooden staircase. Every step you take is the chiropractor found your spot. Oh yeah, every breath you make, exactly. So we're upstairs, we're having a drink. My husband and I. We're upstairs. There's an outdoor patio type area. And at one point, these two beautiful, like mysterious London gals sort of came over. There was plenty of space around us, by the way, and they sort of came over and they're like, mind if we sit here, like, to smoke?
Yeah.
And I was, sorry to say, not the biggest fan of cigarettes. I said, I am a little sensitive to smoke, being so annoying American.
No, I love that. I wish more people around me. I wish I had the confidence to do that. Instead, I would just be like, yeah, and then suffer.
Sure. Well, I said I'm sensitive to smoke, and they sort of sat down anyway and smoked. So you could imagine how I was sort of feeling about that. I wasn't super thrilled, and I felt like they were sort of smoking and blowing it in my direction right in my mouth, as we know people tend to do around me. But that was fine. I had a drink, and so it was time. Like, maybe this isn't the spot. We're going to go somewhere else. But I did feel like those girls were trying to send me some sort of message, what have you. So it's later at night. My husband and I, we decide, like, we kind of want to see, like, walk around and see what else they have here. And there's like a loungy, I want to say it's a restaurant, maybe a floor down from where that outdoor area was, and no one else was there. You're able to walk around. It's sort of like an open space, but we're walking around, and I kept getting the impression that someone was, like, around the corner or someone else was there. Like, I felt like I kept hearing things. And you know me. I'm like, I'm crazy. I am crazy.
Are you, like, smelling cigarette smoke?
Well, on my clothes. On my clothes, which is sort of what I was...
trying to get at. Yeah,
which I was sort of trying to avoid.
Yeah.
And that's just a tale for a different time. Yeah. But I did think someone else was on the floor with us. The others, Nicole. I'm walking around with a candlestick. There's sort of like an old entranceway on each floor. We walk out the entranceway, get onto the staircase. We're walking down the stairs. Out of the corner of my eye, I see shoes. I see, like, feet. So I turn around, or I think I do. I turn around. At that exact moment, my feet go flying up. Both feet fly up. I am hovering above the ground, Exorcism of Emily Rose style, and then slam my ass down. That is behind me. He's like, what the fuck just happened? It's like my legs flew out in front of me, and I had one drink. I was not wasted.
Famously, you've had non-alcoholic drinks.
And been completely wrecked, as you know.
Yeah.
So, that is the time that I was thrown down a flight of stairs in London by a phantom.
Wait, did you get any sort of injuries? And also, you went downstairs?
Well,
I thought you were, like, on the hallway.
No, I was on a flight of stairs. So immediately, I can't accept responsibility for the complete embarrassment of, flying down a flight of stairs. So immediately I say, it's a ghost.
Yeah, there's no part of you that thinks, like, maybe I was clumsy. It's just, it was a ghost.
It was the way that the body moved. And I had a bruise on my ass, a giant bruise.
Okay, this part I remember.
You do remember this. I had a giant bruise on my ass the entire rest of my trip. So I was in Europe for another 2 weeks after that.
And you were wanting to show your ass
everywhere.
Showing
and you my ass.
All of your outfits were showing your ass.
Oh, yeah. No. And I was cutting things. I was cutting out holes in the side just so you could see it. But this is why I know it was a ghost, sort of trying to get my attention. On the flight home, the bruise disappeared. I'm not kidding you.
That's crazy.
Spooky, scary.
I cannot believe we've gotten this far and not talked about this week Nicole Kidman's movie. And obviously we're filming this in September.
Oh, the whole reason we're doing this episode.
She has a new Netflix show called Perfect Stranger. Or Strangers. I'm not sure if it's singular or plural.
Which I thought is the name of a multi-camera comedy from back in the 90s.
It also seems like it's been the name of something else. I'm also not sure. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. some
Netflix show that we will certainly
that we will be
checking out.
watching. Will be appointment television.
Yeah, rich family, murder.
It has Liev Schreiber and
Schreiber.
Megan Fahey, Bono's daughter.
Well, enough about me and sort of my supernatural experiences. I am your daughter type situations I find myself in. Can you tell me how you make Nicole's career all about you?
I mean, I've been waiting 7 days for you to say that to me.
Just 7 days?
7 days.
Very The Ring, Naomi Watts, sort of the...
Her best friend. But, okay, so how I make Nicole Kidman about me is obviously the first thing that comes to mind when I think of Nicole Kidman is, like I said, preeminent actress. She is one of the best actors of all time.
Yeah.
So much so she won an Academy Award for playing Virginia Woolf and putting stones in her pocket and slowly, ending her life at the end of that movie.
Right. Don't get any ideas.
Well, that actually is kind of what happened to me just yesterday, which is I was in a place where I felt like I needed to seriously consider whether or not I wanted to walk into the ocean and fill my jacket with stones.
Sure.
And then I decided, you know what? I am going to instead give the best acting performance of my life.
So you put on a prosthetic nose.
I don't need to. I don't need to with this honker.
Okay.
But so yesterday I went to go support my friend Katie at her comedy showcase. She's trying to get a 3-month run on stage. So she asked all of her friends to come watch her put on this showcase to see if they'll select her show to get this run.
I love that. I had a totally free schedule yesterday.
Do you know Katie? Have you met Katie?
No, you sort of mention her all the time and say she's
really
so
funny.
great.
You guys love each other.
And we've never sort of been given the opportunity.
I keep you guys separate.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And so she has this showcase, and part of the way that it's set up is there's 2 performers. So it's the first 30 minutes is someone, and then she was the second 30 minutes. And so I'm if I'm being honest, I'm a little bit I have to sit through someone else for 30 minutes before getting to my friend. So the guy starts the show. The premise of this guy's show is he's an alpha male who is doing a boot camp to get straight men who aren't in touch with their emotions through physical combat. And it's a comedy show. So I'm sitting down. The guy comes out and he goes...
Sounds needed at this moment in time.
I'm kind of clenched already.
Yeah.
And then he goes, all right, I'm going to need a audience participation from this. And so I have learned from doing comedy in the past that there is a technique to not getting chosen, because there is nothing in the world that I want to do less than be chosen in an audience.
Sure. So, he sounds like the straight male Denise, if you remember. Denise, the wedding host
yes.
/ vocalist.
Very that, yes. Yeah. So he's looking around, and I'm I have heard people say that if you look away and you're very clearly looking down, they pick you because they can sense it and they want to bring you on stage. But then also if you look directly at them, you're too eager or something. Sometimes they want an eager person. And so I was I'm going to do a mixture of the two, which is I'm going to look in his direction but kind of past him. So it's okay, I'm forgettable. Look at the other people who are either eager or really shy. Instead, he circles in directly on me. I want to walk into the ocean, fill myself with stones. But then I decide to make the decision, and I was you know what? I'm here. He's also getting his showcase, decide whether or not he's going to get a show, and I don't want to torpedo it. So I'm you know what? I will put on the best acting performance of my life and act excited. And so, so he picks me up. He makes me stand spotlight on me. He gives me a sash that's called Chosen Boy. And then I have to say, where I'm from and some other fact. I sit down, I was quick. I sat down and acted excited. That's the end of it. 5 minutes go by again. He makes me stand up, go onto stage, and then he starts putting on, he makes me put on soundproof headphones, safety goggles, I'm still wearing the sash, by the way, and hands me a prop toy gun, and then makes me do like some sort of like combat punch moves, and then throw this gun across the stage to hit a target like a baseball. I'm sort of like, this is actually the worst day of my life.
This sounds like nonsense.
He's being nice, but I was still just like, this is actually my nightmare, my living nightmare come true.
Well, it's a straight man not understanding your needs.
And I was also kind of like, but I was trying to be like, I don't want to torpedo your showcase. I will play the game. I will act excited, give my best Nicole Kidman. So I do the thing, and then I sit back down, and I'm like, surely that's enough. I've already, like, it's a lot of interaction for your showcase. Like, I'm not a part of the show,
Right, even though I've had more stage time than you at this point.
Then 5 minutes go by. He, again, asks me to stand up, spotlight, go back onto the stage, center of stage. Then he makes me, Greg, and I kid you not, he makes me look at everyone in the crowd and list off 5 affirmations about myself that I like.
What?
Yes. And so I'm like, this is actual torture. And instead I'm like being all giggly, happily, and I'm happy. And so I quickly do it. I'm just like, I'm just going to play the game because I know there's nothing worse than when you're trying to be funny with the person. It's like they clearly have a game, just play their game.
Right.
So I list it off quickly and then sit back down and think, again, surely
I've done my part.
I've done my part.
Yeah.
And then, yet again, he asked me to come back on stage for the close of the show. By the way, this is a sold-out audience, filled to the brim.
Oh, my God.
And I know that maybe from this pod, this makes me think like I love being the center of attention or being on stage. There's nothing I want to do less in life. I do not want that.
Oh, no. And nor does the audience.
No one wants it. So then I'm up there, and then how this story culminates, Gregory, is he gets the audience to shout boo collectively at me.
Okay.
And then I have to respond, who? So just listeners, put yourself in this headspace. Everyone is shouting at you, boo, and you have to say who. Boo, who, boo, who. Louder boos. He's getting everyone to shout boo at me as loud as they can. Lights out to them booing me.
That's the finale
That's
of the
finale
piece.
of this show. I will say it is a funny show. He was being sweet to me. He was like asking for like if it was okay, even though you can't really say no.
No, I mean you had no choice. Yeah, you were.
And then afterwards,
being bullied into doing this.
And then I go and sit down. I like turn to my friend, and I'm just kind of like.
So you went with other. You know what? Just keep. I was free yesterday.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was at the famous time, 5:30 p.m. So very early time on a Monday.
Sure.
And I go sit down, and at that point, I was like sure that my acting performance of being excited had dwindled. That I was no longer giving happy.
Sure. Yeah.
And so I turned and I was like, "How was that? Like, did I look like excited? I didn't want to be like annoyed." And he was like, I'm not kidding you. He goes, if you didn't, you literally looked so happy. He's like, so you gave the best acting performance I've ever seen. And I just want to say, I'm the Nicole Kidman of our generation.
Fuck.
Literally insane.
I am so... You know what? That doesn't surprise me. You are charming, if anything. You really are. I mean, I don't think
you haven't seen it. Yeah.
No.
You've been told.
I mean, yeah, you can't sort of muster up that performance for me. But I would have loved to see it. I'm so glad, and his show, of course, is going to Broadway.
Yeah.
And you should win an Oscar.
I really, honestly, Nicole Kidman, someone's coming up is right behind you. I've got your coattails. I'm going to snatch that wig.
Right, and you are so just as good as her at an Australian accent.
I'm actually auditioning to play Taylor Swift tomorrow.
Okay. What do you think? Should we take a break?
I think you've never had a smarter idea in your life.
Okay.
Welcome back.
We're back. It's time for Diva Down, which is, of course, our segment where we give unsolicited advice to a person, place, or thing, something that really needs our help right now.
And this is probably the thing that needs the most help that we've ever talked about.
Sure, yeah. It sort of constantly actually needs our help and our focused attention, and we need to give this
a change needs to happen with this Diva Down.
And a change is gonna come.
And it is stubborn as fuck.
Sure.
Which our Diva Down this week is
our butts. Our butts.
Our butts. This is a thing where I think I'm going to speak for Greg here.
Yeah, the exterior of our butts. By the way, we need to be clear about that. Sort of the outside, the appearance.
I want a bigger butt.
Yeah. Same. Butts are in.
Yeah.
Butts have been in.
And I have been trying my damnedest to get a bigger one.
You have.
And it sort of refuses. It really is just like, what you want is not what you're going to get, sir.
It is so that. It's sort of, the biggest sort of antagonist in our lives. Yeah. We keep climbing up that hill.
And then also, as a gay man, it is a very important attribute that calls all the ladies to the yard.
It gets brings all the ladies to you. I mean, what is your advice? Because I'm out here. I've been working on this butt since my early 20s, I would say. I started really, attempting it, and it has grown. It has grown. It comes with eating. It comes with a lot of exercise. But I'm out here. I'm sort of at the Pasadena flea market this past weekend buying shorts in size 38, which is not nearly my size at all. So then I'm out here not buying a belt either.
Yeah.
And then I'm walking around. I take a single step. These pants humble me when they sort of fall to my knees.
There's nothing to sort of catch it in the back.
Yeah, there's nothing to catch it. And I think... so my advice is sort of dress for the body that you have.
Dress for success.
Not the body that you want.
Yes.
Keep going because, things do happen when you least expect it. And one of these days, my butt's just going to be really high and really tight.
Wow. Your advice is so much... more elevated and kind of like Brene Brownified.
Thank you. Yeah, well, I've really had to come to terms with that. And then, again, and also another bit of advice, buy a belt. Yeah. Because you don't have the butt.
Yeah. So my advice to my butt and to your butt is I think we need to make a trip to Brazil. And I think we need to get a Brazilian butt lift together live on pod.
Okay. On pod, okay.
On pod.
And then live stream our recovery as well.
Live stream the recovery. And we're going to have big bruises on our butt, but then we're going to fly over to London, and by the time we get to London, the bruises will be gone.
Wow.
And that's my advice.
And the ghosts won't be pushing us down the stairs anymore.
The ghosts will sign up to get... Our butts will be so good that those ghosts will be flying to Brazil to get a BBL.
Wow.
As we wind down, I just want the listeners to know that this is going to be a recurring segment, Butt Checks.
Butt Checks.
With Tim and Greg.
And we will be figuring it out as we go. And of course... rest assured, listeners, we will be doing this podcast for the rest of eternity.
Yeah, once our butts are fully sagging past our ankles.
Then maybe at that point we'll be happy.
Yeah.
Maybe at that point we'll be happy. And with that, thanks for listening. We love you. Please tell your friends, and subscribe. Please rate us or leave a review if you feel so
watch
inclined.
Nicole Kidman show. We don't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
But it's amazing.
It is on Netflix this week.
Yes.
And it's not called Perfect Strangers. No. And it's not called A Perfect Affair, A Public Affair.
It's something about her being rich and a family, and Liev Schreiber and Bono's daughter is in it.
Yeah. And it's based on probably a book. Okay.
Okay.
Bye. Miss Thing Podcast is created, executive produced, and hosted by Greg Trimmer and Tim Zintek.
It's produced and edited by Benji Simons, with cover art and additional creative support by Claude Zines.
Follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Miss Thing the Pod.
New episodes drop every Tuesday. Watch on YouTube or listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Please subscribe, rate, and review, but only raves. Strictly 5 stars and above.
Follow Greg at Greg Trimmer and Tim at Tim_Zintek on all social media. BONK!